Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Agency Operators Podcast. Today I'm joined by Pietro Mappers of Success Mappers. How you doing, Pietro?
Hi, Pash. I'm doing great. Very nice to be here with you.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm a little bit jealous. You're in Italy. I was just mentioning before the call. It's a place that I would love to live at some place. It's beautiful, the culture, the people, and everything. So
Thanks so
um,
much.
I'm really excited to have a fellow agency owner and coach here on the podcast. And talk a little bit about what we see working in this world of Amazon sellers. I'm speaking to so many sellers recently of different sizes, and everybody's continuously dealing with the same issues. Amazon throws their way. The macroeconomic climate throws our way. Dealing with all those things, but we have to keep going. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Before we get started, just curious, your journey. I know you've started years back as a seller and then service provider. We just love to hear a little bit about you and your journey, kind of how you became the founder of Success Mappers.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Great. So we started our store in 2017, right? So as a seller, and our store is still going. Some of my team is still there since the old times. And then we started the freelancing around the COVID time, right? And then we seen that the freelancing was going good, so we expanded to a more done for you agency service. And right now we do agency service and coaching services for small, medium, and big Amazon brands. Yes, and we help them optimize Amazon marketing. It can mean PPC management or like marketing optimization.
And do you see more demand on the U.S. side and the European side?
I personally get a lot of European side demand because I'm European and I talk a lot, for example, on our social media about the European side of Amazon that is slightly different. So I get a kind of traffic usually, but we work also with USA sellers, UK sellers. So
Are you seeing that AI has affected how translation services work? Because years ago, if you didn't have somebody, let's say in Italy for the Italian market, how are you going to do the translation? Now you can
yeah,
just plug it into AI. And, in the early days of AI, you would say, okay, I don't know what they're actually giving me. Like it says it in Italian, but if I don't know the language, it might be nonsense, right? Because you have to trust the AI. But now we've gotten so far that you can almost feel confident, even if you don't know what it says. You can upload it and it'll probably be okay. Uh, what do you think?
yeah. So we started using AI with translation in 2019. Back then, the translation with AI was very bad, right? So we had a process to double check the translation with crossing translation. I don't have time to explain it. So my view is AI has changed dramatically the marketing work right now. So right now, if you don't use AI with your listings, you are missing out a lot. The point I want to make is it depends also what kind of products and store size we are talking about. Because if you're very small, is too expensive to hire a translation specialized on for one language, right? For example, if you have a product for Netherlands, selling on Amazon Netherlands, it's not worth the money to pay a translator, right? Usually. So it really depends about that. If you want the customization at scale, AI for cheap is very good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're just kind of like a single seller and you're looking for like a lean solution, it's good enough. But you're saying like if you're really trying to scale up, like it's beneficial to have. It's worth to
Yeah,
pay the money
absolutely.
for an actual speaker.
Yeah, yeah. What I see in general with AI, I mean, I would love to talk about this topic because AI has a big impact in the marketing from PPC to listing optimization, everything. Is AI is very good to do the bulk of the work. So 80% of the work, 90% of the work can be done by AI most of the time. But if you want to get the top results, especially for your best sellers or the most important part of your business, the human touch is still required. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think that in a couple of years it's not going to be the case, or you always will need a human driver, no matter how sophisticated the machine?
I think the cost effect of AI will win long term because it's very, very cheap, right?
Hmm.
Get a little increment in optimization for with a human person, but it costs a lot to get that increment, right? So if you are talking about the big part of the businesses, is worth it to be human, but AI, I think, will cover most of the work. For example, we see a lot with the Amazon PPC right now. Amazon PPC is starting to get automated with AI integration, right? But some part of the Amazon PPC work is still requires human management, right? So I think it really depends on what area we're talking about.
My wife asked me today in the morning because she heard of a friend that said, "Oh, I'm a photographer, and the photography company I work for told me I will be irrelevant in 1 year." And so she heard that from her friend, and she asked me, like, "What about you? You're in this Amazon e-commerce space. Like, surely that has to be affected by AI." And my response was very similar, where you're always going to need the human in the loop, somebody to drive things, somebody to even like you think about PPC, that it's so data driven, it's so like it's just data, it's numbers, it's but there's strategy, there's relevancy, there's all these other factors that it has to be aware of, and maybe it can be aware of all those things, but still it might not be aligned with other aspects. Like it would have to be fed with so much information for it to be better than what a human can do without having any kind of intervention. And even if so, even if you can get it completely automated and not pay attention to it more than once every month, just look at it for 5 minutes and just say, okay, great, it's working. There's still so many aspects of the business that you can focus on.
Yeah, about that topic you said is very, very true because if you start to learn about AI, you think AI is so powerful, but if you try to use AI in the business practically, you try to create like LLM chat model for your coaching or agency, you see that is very, very repetitive and not high quality with what they do. So the point is right now AI is very good if it's not doing agentic type of workflows, right? When you want to do Amazon PPC, you have very complex, for example, workflows of processes, and AI is not yet ready to do that efficiently like a human. In the future, maybe it will be, but for all the listeners that think that AI is stealing their job already right now, I don't think so for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Even photography. I mean, I don't
Mm.
believe that photography is going to be replaced, because this is a style of art, and it's something that people will appreciate more and more. And with the rise of AI, human connection, human creativity, and ingenuity is going to be more important and more valued than ever before, in my opinion. Because you like, for example, there was a newsletter that I received from a local farm, because I live in the countryside, and these guys they sell beef, and it was a beautiful story about how they raise the grass, and not all grass that the cows eat is the same. And to me, that, like, I got so captured by this writing because he wrote it by hand. You can tell. Like, now it's become so apparent when something is AI generated that real actual copywriting really stands out, whereas before it was just like, oh, everyone's doing copywriting, everyone's doing marketing. So my point is that even areas like photography are still going to be in demand, and you can take a photo shoot and 10 great photos that you really like and use AI to create 100 more of the same type, right? They're just going to be variations, but the source information always will need to come from a human being. And that is always going to be, no matter how crazy the tech is going to be, you're always going to need that. And that's why I'm not really concerned, because you're always going to need somebody to assist you who has the experience, who knows how to drive the vehicle, even if the vehicle is mostly self-driving. You need the engineers. So we're coming back to a time when engineering and technical understanding is going to be the primary source, how people operate, or on the other side, just the kind of creative and human side of it as well. And a lot of things in between will get automated, but e-commerce is changing right before our eyes, and we've witnessed that ourselves. But still, there's still a lot of work to be done, and the way that people consume is changing. I don't know if you've had any exposure to TikTok or any of the other social platforms. Are you guys looking at TikTok as a service?
Not much. We use it as a marketing channel, right? It's interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what are the things that you guys are really kind of like focused on this year with regards to Amazon?
Yeah, so right now, especially because we work in Europe and we work with small sellers with small budget, our main focus is always about ROI of work that needs to be done. So because you can do 100 things on Amazon, 1,000 things on Amazon, YouTube is full of information about how to do stuff. But the really important thing is the same that you mentioned in the title of this podcast episode. How can you find the 1% that brings 90% of the results of the Amazon growth? So we as a coaching or agency, and I think you for you is the same, we always try to find what is the minimum activity with minimum cost that bring the best results. So that's our biggest challenge, and always the thing that we are more passionate about. For example, in the marketing discussion, Amazon marketing topic, the Amazon PPC or a general Amazon marketing topic is about having a clear picture about what's happening in the Amazon customer journey experience and finding exactly the leaking point to fix as fast as possible to get the most ROI.
Mm-hmm. We typically find it's usually one of like maybe 3 or 4 things for the most part. Like that's when you're working with a marketplace like Amazon, there's a lot of limitations that you run into. But then it also narrows down the list of things that you can do. So what we typically see is either the conversion rate is terrible because they don't have content that clearly explains the product, or they're just not setting right customer expectations, which most of that information you can actually get from the reviews. The advertising is not good, or they're running out of inventory, which is like the number one problem that we see. So it's like a logistical problem. You don't have inventory, so what's the point of everything else? Your listing can be amazing, your ads can be perfect, and you run out of stock, and it's like...
Yeah. It's funny for me that when people come to us and ask what we need to do with Amazon PPC, and we say to them, don't run out of stock. As simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally had a call like that today. It was about the same thing, where like they're so focused on getting like, we have 4.7 star reviews. We really want to get 4.8. Like we're working very hard on that, but it's like we ran out of stock for 2 months, so our sales just started again. So I'm like, the focus on something that's really...
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, in that situation, you ask, why are you running out of stock? Is it an operation problem, a cash flow problem? Why is that? Yeah, and that's the point. Exactly what I think is important to talk about. You was good to take the topic out. The Amazon customer journey is so big that sometimes we forget about what really matters, right? We think about what's the best placement for Amazon PPC, and we forget that there is not a product to demand match, or we don't have a lifetime value, or we don't have a main image that converts, right?
Right. Tell me a little bit about your coaching offer. Like, how do you help sellers?
Yeah, so usually we have a very, very flexible coaching approach. The biggest issue we see is with Amazon PPC and Amazon search engine optimization, so keywords analysis. Usually most of Amazon sellers come to us that want to sell more with ads. We end up teaching them very well Amazon keywords analysis, and we do it step by step with them in one-on-one sessions. And the reason we do it this way is because, as we mentioned, AI is not able to make a strategy for everyone. Courses are not able to make a strategy for everyone. And the experience that Pasha and me have, Pasha has more years of experience than me, cannot be delivered without kind of mentorship, kind of coaching, right? And we do it weekly. Usually we meet weekly with the store owner or the manager, and we fix every problem during their journey.
Awesome. And if somebody was interested in just kind of speaking with you and seeing, like, if they're a good fit for the coaching program, maybe some of the pricing, like, what's the easiest way to get in touch with you?
Our website. So on our website, you find free content, our best Amazon PPC strategy right now that we use with our clients, and you can see our case studies. That's the best path.
Great. Pietro, it was a pleasure chatting with you today.
For me too.
Hopefully somebody will hear this and get in touch with you. Like, I think there's a lot of good opportunity for small sellers to still come into the game. Big sellers are already there, but there's always room for them to grow as well. But what I see more is, like, the people who are really trying to get into the space have such a hard time squeezing themselves in, and a lot of the answers are right under their nose most of the time. So having somebody that they can talk to who can kind of hold their hand through that process, I think, is going to be very valuable.
I agree with you. It's very, very valuable.
Okay. Well,
thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you again. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.